Well, I am thrilled to be bringing on today to the Girlfriend Doctor Live one of my dearest and longest friends, Dr. Kyrin Dunstan. Hey, Kyrin, how are you?
Hey, how are you? How's everybody?
We are good. We are good. So, as our audience is copping on, I just want you to share a little bit about yourself. And before you do, just let people know how we met. I was in Brunswick, Georgia, National Health Service Corps scholar, and I was a researcher before I went to medical school. And so I heard about this amazing doctor in Savannah who was doing some research, some clinical trials, and we connected through that, right? Initially, and we started doing some clinical trials research together. I met you and your family, and it was just, that's it. Best friends since.
Yes, that's right. I forgot that it was about clinical trials. That's right. So I used to do a lot of those back when I practiced regular medicine.
That was even that pre-enlightened phase,
Pre
right?
and right.
You and I, like clinics, running, because and that's probably why, don't you wonder, because we were so into the research. What is the research showing us? And then when you consent people to do a research study, it's like, here's this laundry list of all these things that could actually happen to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that was how it all started. And I guess we had these parallel paths, and I don't think we saw each other for a while. And then we saw each other, and we had both had gotten divorced, and so our personal paths were going. And then you were got more holistic, and I did too. And then we came back together, and it's kind of just been this weaving in and out. And, I went and got fellowship trained in functional medicine, and I retired from OBGYN in 2011. So I've done that full time working with women, and then just felt a call to get the message out in a bigger way than in a brick and mortar office. So I started a podcast, Her Brilliant Health Revolution, and YouTube, Her Brilliant Health Secrets. And I'm doing the Stop the Menopause Madness Summit because it's insane what women are putting up with their health. And so I just feel called to share the information that I've been given that helped me lose 100 pounds and heal myself from chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression, hair loss, no sex drive. Like, I was the laundry list poster child for women at midlife, and healed myself from all of that. And so other women deserve to have this.
Oh my gosh. So true. So true. And I think that's what's really pretty cool. You've got your Menopause Madness Summit coming up, and we'll talk about that. But gosh, you share in your information page on that, also your before and after pictures. I mean, when we met each other, both of us, right, full time OBGYNs, struggling and unhealthy. Unhealthy. I was over 240 pounds. You were over 240
Yeah.
pounds, and we were in that, frumpy, not yet 40, we were 30s, frumpy, and fatigued and burning
Oh,
the candle at both ends, supporting our families, both the primary
right.
breadwinners of our families, raising our kids, juggling carpool, what's it called? Homework.
Right.
Homeschool for me right now. Juggling that with the financial pressures plus the love of our practice, how we do that. So I want to share with our audience right now, you guys, please, I always love to do some giveaways, and I've got a couple giveaways. So I would love you guys to participate in our fun today. And just let me know, like, what's a hormone consideration or a hormone question that you have, and this is the time to ask. And Dr. Dunstan is board certified fellow of obstetrics and gynecology. We study for our boards together every year now for the last few years. And man, she rocks it every time. It's like, what? Like,
We
always.
both do. We knock it out.
We do. And so ask your hormone question. I mean, menopause is a struggle, and people don't realize. I mean, I think this is what we see, and clinically, because it's not in the medical literature, it's not what we've studied. But age 35, there is a shift at age 35, and I think that's when, for both of us, that was a big time where we were pretty unhealthy.
Yeah, I think it definitely started in my 30s. I attributed all of that to the work we do because we have so much sleep interruption with the babies and the stress level is like up here. Um, but in the 40s for me is when it really accelerated. It just got out of control. And, here I'm board certified OBGYN, but I checked my thyroid at least 10 times and it was normal, quote unquote. And I really thought I was crazy. I really did. Did you ever get to that place too where you just thought, I'm crazy?
I still will wave my crazy flag. Are you kidding?
Crazy flag.
Like, here it is.
And, and then when I discovered functional medicine and I just, yeah.
1 second, because we say crazy because everything we've learned, hundreds of thousands of dollars, prime years of our lives, sleepless nights, studying, acing our exams, not missing our classes, showing up for our patients, doing what we know to do, operating, prescribing, caring. And we're like, shit, like something's off.
What's wrong?
One is not equaling two. My doctor's bag is not everything I need to do the work I need to do for myself and for my patients.
Yeah. And that's why, if we're here, I'm supposed to know about how to create health for women. And I'm like, look at me, I'm clearly not healthy, but I couldn't figure it out, and then I didn't realize that the lens that I was looking through was this paradigm of pill for every ill, symptom management, symptom treatment. And then when I got it, that there's so much more to creating health, it was like, oh, and I discovered functional medicine. It was like, well, when I did the right thyroid tests and I read them the right way, oh yeah, I had low thyroid. Oh, and by the way, I did, salivary hormone testing and I was progesterone deficient. But how is it that I'm an OBGYN and I was never taught about this? And how is it that we don't have standard of care to check women's hormone levels? I mean, it was just, now I see it so clearly. It's because mainstream medicine really isn't serving the basic health needs and the root causes. So I'm so glad that I found this. And that's why I wanted to share it on the Stop the Menopause Madness Summit, because it's madness what we're dealing with.
It is madness. So you've had thank you, by the way, for including me in that summit. I really appreciate it. I'm excited about that. And I know you've had some other guests and have got some great pearls, and we've got some questions coming in. So yay for these questions. Okay. I'm excited about that. Also share this video to your audience. Can you guys hear me okay? I moved my mic. So definitely share to your audience, and also like this, heart this, show us some love. That makes a difference in our rankings on Facebook, as I learned, so that we can reach more people. But when you do that, that really helps us get the word out. So I thank you guys for doing this. I see some amazing familiar friends here. Elle is here, Vicky, Robin. Oh my God, to see you, Claudine, Gigi, Sarah. We've got some of our ladies from our Keto Green community and Magic Menopause joining us today as well. So you've had some really great pearls. Talk about a few of the speakers that you have that have come on, and what some aha moments were.
Oh my gosh, there were so many. I think JJ gave a great one, JJ Virgin, talking about food sensitivities. I love it when people describe topics related to health in plain English that everyone can understand. So she talked about food sensitivities, and she said, people say, well, I just removed gluten and I didn't feel any different. And she said, well, if you're sitting on 6 tacks and we only remove 1, are you going to feel different when you sit down? No, that was a visual I'll never forget. So I'll forever explain it that way. Dr. Kim.
That's a great explanation.
Isn't it great? And so you might be sensitive to gluten, but if you don't remove the other foods, you're going to sit on tacks. Mm-hmm. Dr. Kim Millman does a great talk about bone health. And she talks about the research showing that vitamin K at high doses is just as effective as bisphosphonates or prescription medications for osteoporosis, and actually creates very high quality bone, where bisphosphonates create low quality that's prone to fracture. She goes into so much more detail. She really outlines a comprehensive approach to what you need to do to reverse osteoporosis. You definitely want to see that. There were so many aha moments. We have 3 people talking about estrogen from different aspects. So Dr. Tabitha Barber's talking about maybe the problem is you have too much, and how estrogen is that Goldilocks hormone. Not too much, not too little. You want to just right. And so she talks about how to know the difference of where you are. And then we have Dr. Lindsay Berkson talking about why estrogen is not your enemy and why everyone's so afraid of it and you need it. And she talks about why it's so important even for people who have had breast cancer. And she does done a lot of research in this area. So that was really interesting because I had never heard that it's actually should be a prescription for people with breast cancer. So you definitely want to hear that because that's an unusual view, but she has the research to back it up. And then Dr. Maritza Snyder from Essentially You podcast, she debunks menopause myths, which might not be what you think. You know, when she proposed the topic, I said, I know what I think menopause myths are. But then when she presented them, it wasn't what I thought at all. So you'll be fascinated to hear that. And then we have Dr. Mindy Pelz and Cynthia Thurlow. So
love them both.
Right. Cynthia's talking about intermittent fasting. She has that viral TED Talk on intermittent fasting. So she really helps women know when is it appropriate to use, how to use it. And then Dr. Mindy talks about actually how you come up with what your best diet plan is for you, because one size does not fit all. So she really goes into helping you to figure out what's best for you and really listening to your body. We've got people talking about beauty because that's always a concern. So we actually have Dr. Kira Barr is talking about how your skin is mirroring what's going on inside your body. And so you can use it as a tool, a diagnostic tool. And Rachel Varga is talking about, well, if you've got wrinkles and sagging, what can you do to improve it? And she runs the gamut. So she recommends all natural products, but she actually showed me, have you seen this thing, Anna? This roller thing with little needles on it?
For like microneedling?
Yeah, but you can do it at home.
I've not seen it for at home. No.
I hadn't either. So she actually shows it at the summit and she talks about how you use it. And you can do this microneedling with this roller with needles on it at home. And it actually boosts collagen, clinically proven. I mean, I'm thinking, where have I been? I didn't know about this.
I love that idea. You know, I have one of our good friends, Rebecca Murray. She does the micro needling, and she's like, Dr. Anna, I use the micro needling, and then I put your Jolva on it. I'm like, whoa. She's like, the results are amazing, face and neck. I'm like, okay, I'm getting that device. You know, I don't have micro needling. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to tune into your summit to listen to that one too. There's so many. And you talked about Susan Bratton's, right?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Talk about show and tell. You know, Rachel did show and tell of products and things. And then Susan, oh my gosh, she blew my mind. So Susan is an intimacy expert, and she gives a master class in vulvar anatomy, sexual anatomy, and also in the sexual response cycle in women, which, I mean, we're board certified OBGYNs, right? We learn this stuff, but not like Susan teaches it. I mean, she explained it in a way, and, you know, she says that most women, one of the reasons their sex drive is low in menopause is because they're so tired of having pointless sex that isn't satisfying because their partners don't know how to satisfy them. And I was like, you are so right. And so she gives an anatomy lesson to be all anatomy lessons and tells you what you need to do to get to where it is satisfying and how you can know this. You learn it on yourself and then you can teach your partner. And then she does a toy show and tell that is, I mean, this woman, she's just pulling them out of the bag. And this is what you can use. And, she taught me about this device that you can use to actually rejuvenate the vagina that uses red lights and vibration and heat. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is groundbreaking. I read the stuff. I learned so much. We have 53 experts, 34 doctors, and
Wow.
almost everyone on there is a credentialed expert. But you know what I like to say, that some of my favorite experts are people who didn't go to school to learn this. So they didn't learn the mainstream medicine way that actually in some cases harms people, because it fails to diagnose hypothyroid a lot of the time and doesn't diagnose what I call hormonal impoverishment. So Elle Russ, amazing.
Love Elle. We love Elle. So
She
brilliant on thyroid.
couldn't get the answers that she wasn't getting the answers she needed from her doctor. So she went on this mission and she just started learning as much as she could about thyroid. And this woman knows more about thyroid than any doctor I have ever talked to. And she breaks it down in detail. So if you have any thyroid issues, you definitely want to see Elle. And then Palmer Capola is another one. She had an autoimmune problem, wasn't getting the answers, right? She was just getting that, oh, here's a medication to shut your immune system down. And she's like, I don't think so.
And she was in her young 20s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so she has encyclopedic knowledge of autoimmune disease. So she really breaks it down, and they all bring really what is so important at menopause, because we really have these special needs. It's not only about hormones. Dr. Stephen Masley talks about heart disease, the number one killer that most of us don't worry about. We're just like, just fix my hormones, right? But
another one of my favorite people, best-selling author of the Mediterranean Method, out this year. He's just a brilliant, brilliant man too.
Yes.
So many good things. Okay, we've got a few minutes, so we're gonna fire out some questions at you. You guys want me to enter you to win a tube of Julva and some samples to give your friends. Definitely put your name in here, ask a question, share this conversation, because we want to share this menopause summit. So you can share that link as well, and get people on board to get this cutting edge. And Kyrin's one of the best interviewers that I've ever been interviewed. I've been interviewed on hundreds of podcasts, on summits, and by news, etc. But let me tell you, she gets to the point, digs deep. You come out with really tangible pearls of knowledge that you're like, okay, that you're going to take with you. She is fabulous this way, and so brilliant, and able to really bring things and break things down so that you guys know what to do. So your next right step. So you don't want to miss this summit, Menopause Madness Summit. I mean, it's information we want, whether you're before menopause, in menopause, or well after menopause. There are pearls for everyone. I didn't realize you had 53 experts.
Yes.
And just that, favorite, amazing, highly esteemed people, and you kept the interviews concise, and that makes a big difference as a attendee to listing. So you guys want to get this, and awesome. So let's see, we're going to start up here with questions. Who should use Estriol cream? Stacy asks. So who should use Estriol cream?
Well, anyone who would like to maintain the youthfulness of their vagina. Although I think Julva's fabulous. I use it myself, and it does a similar thing. So you don't necessarily have to have a prescription like Estriol. But if something like Julva is not doing it for you, then you might want to add some Estriol. I do favor Estriol over estradiol cream for the vagina, because the tissue, the cells there have better receptors for the estriol. Also, estriol is a healthier estrogen and can help prevent breast cancer, whereas estradiol can more often go down pathways where it's broken down into estrone that can then promote cancer. So I'd say if you are having vaginal atrophy, dryness, urogenital symptoms like that, and things like Julva aren't doing it, then I would go to something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And Estriol too, for our MS patients, I mean, way back in the research, right? Multiple sclerosis, MS, if you have that, definitely was really powerful. So brain health, right? Estrogen deficiency can cause neurodegenerative changes. So we want to make sure that you're on the safest form. Sharon says, is there anything I can do to boost libido? All right. I love this topic, Kyrin. All yours. In 30
oh my gosh,
seconds
there's so much you can do, and you should be having great sex. Like Susan and I think we talked about during the summit, like in my 40s was the first time I had multiple orgasm. That might be TMI, but you should be having
no
those.
such thing as TMI, right?
Okay.
I'm the girlfriend.
It is the girlfriend show. So like we should be able to talk about anything. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So you should be having multiple orgasms. So how do you boost your libido? So I'm going to give you the 30-second version. You got to get your hormones right. Hormonal deprivation, hormonal poverty will keep you in the no sex happy house. So you've got to get your estrogen right, your progesterone right, your testosterone right. Those are necessary, right? Not sufficient. You also got to get your thyroid, insulin, and cortisol and DHEA right. So that's like the foundation. Then you got to inflame your body and get rid of the toxicity. So detox. We've got experts on the summit talking about that. Then you got to make sure you're nutritionally replete. You got all your nutrient resources that your cells need, like your B vitamins, your vitamin D, vitamin E, A, D, E, K, and your macronutrients, right? Your carbs, fats, and proteins. Most women don't get enough protein. And then you got to get your mental, emotional, spiritual balance, the intangibles, like Dr. Maritza calls it. You got to get that right. So like if your relationship is not good and your husband's cheating on you, you're not going to have a great sex drive. I had this patient one time. She kept coming back every year saying, I have no sex drive. My husband's cheating on me. I have no sex drive. And she thought it was her fault because he only cheated on her because she didn't want to have sex. But I kept asking her, well, why would you want to have sex with someone who's cheating on you? So if there are relationships problems, that's a long way of saying you got to address those. Because for women, our sex drive is 90% up here, 10% down there. We got to feel safe and secure and loved and seen and happy and nurtured for us to become aroused. And so that's a prerequisite. So that would be the short version.
Amen, sister. Oh, yes. Yeah, double that, triple that. We've got such good questions in. And let's see here. I've heard that hormone testing can fluctuate so much and not be accurate. When it's done, when is the best time to test all hormones, time of day, time of month? My doc won't test. Do you do this? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We test, but there's many ways to test. So
yeah, there are many ways to test. And a lot of doctors will say, no, we won't do that. No, there's no standard of care for it, which is BS. You just got to find the right doctor who's trained in this integrative medicine, functional medicine. They know. So it depends where you are in your life, right? So if you're still cycling, so the best time to do it would be cycle day 19 through 21. Cycle day 1 is the first day of your period. So you just count the days through there because that is about after you ovulate, between when you ovulate and you have a menses. If you're not cycling and you still have a uterus, then you can pretty much do it anytime as long as so if you're postmenopausal, let me say that. It can be challenging in the 40-year-old age range when you can have irregular periods. And sometimes we'll actually, especially if a woman's had a hysterectomy, but she still has her ovaries, because we don't know where you are in your cycle. So sometimes we'll do 2 readings 2 weeks apart so we can kind of see what's going on and figure out where you are. But that mid-luteal phase at cycle day 19 through 21 would be best. Time of day doesn't necessarily matter as much. Now for cortisol, that has a diurnal variation, so it's way higher in the morning and it'll change throughout the day. So that does matter. But your estrogen, it doesn't have it has a 28 on average day cycle. Your estrogen, progesterone, they have a cyclicity. Your testosterone, because 50% of it's made in your ovaries, 50% in your adrenals, is less cyclic usually. But I usually say cycle day 19 through 21, or if you're menopausal, then you can do it anytime.
Yep. And the same time every time when you do it.
Yeah.
you know, so that we're consistent. Elle wrote, what most women focus on hot flashes and low libido. What about loss of estrogen, increasing a woman's chance of getting Alzheimer's, heart disease, and osteoporosis? Do we need to replace the estrogen we lose? This is a fabulous question. I know you address this with different experts in your summit for sure. And it's not just estrogen, but progesterone as well. I'm going to let you answer that. And while you're answering and talking, I'm going to disappear for a minute and bring up our wheel of names so we can give away that Jolva with free trials. If you are on, have asked a question, we're going to enter you to win and liked and shared this video. So then you are entered. All right, go ahead, Dr.
Absolutely. So, oh my gosh, yes, your precious brain. You have more of these sex hormone receptors in your brain than you do anywhere else. So everyone thinks that it's about sex and reproduction, but it's about so much more. And I also think it's almost a disservice that they're called sex hormones, because then we denigrate how important they are. So yes, actually, Reversing Alzheimer's Protocol by Dr. Dale Bredesen, one of the key tools that he recommends and uses that has been clinically proven is bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. He wrote a book called The End of Alzheimer's, and he has the Recode protocol.
Can you see that? Lois won. Yay, Lois. I'll be sure to email me.
Yay,
and
Lois.
So awesome. Okay, keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
A big shout out to Lois. Awesome.
Yeah. So it's so important, our brain health and preventing dementia. And we do have a couple people addressing that on the summit. Leah Lund talks a little bit about it. Dr. Romy Mushtak talks about preserving your precious memory at midlife and beyond. And so, you know, it's all about, what do you want 80 to look like? So I always say that I'm a doctor, which means teacher. And so my job is to educate, like Dr. Anna, you educate people, and then help people to make the best choice for themselves. Because some people say, well, I don't care that it's quote unquote natural hormones, that they're the same as what my body naturally has. Somebody made it in a lab. I don't want it in my body. And if they don't want to take them, that's fine. But I always tell women, just educate yourself about what's going to happen when those receptors in your brain don't get nourished by estrogen and progesterone. What's going to happen that at 80 is going to change your life, and what is it going to look like? Because if you're informed about that and you realize, well, you're going to lose bone mass and muscle mass and be at risk for a hip fracture, which a third of women will die from and a third of women will become disabled from, and you're at risk for dementia and Alzheimer's and all this, and you say, know all that, and you say, well, I don't want it. Okay, that's fine. So is it required or necessary? You know, women say, how long do I have to take these hormones? Well, as long as you want the benefits. But it really is a personal choice. And some people say, ultimately, I don't want it. I got to have my hormones. What about you, Anna? Right?
Got them right here.
Gotta have them.
Gotta have them. And that's why, you know, creating natural ways like my Pure Balance Cream, my Jolva, natural ways, Mighty Maca to boost your body's natural hormones and detoxify the unhealthy ones. I mean, we're all about that. Thank you so much, Kyrin. I love you. Our audience loves you. You guys be sure to sign up for Dr. Dunstan's Menopause Madness Summit. Really fabulous, great interviews. It is state-of-the-art summit, recorded, delivery, everything. I know many of you have been on summits before and you're like, this is painful. I know, well, I have, but this is not the case. I mean, really can highly recommend this summit, Menopause Madness Summit. The link is in the copy here in the communication. So be sure to go ahead and click that link and check out Dr. Dunstan. You want to give your website too, Kyrin?
Sure. It's KyrinDunstanMD.com, and it's spelled KyrinDunstonMD.com. And yeah, I hope you'll join us at the Stop the Menopause Madness Summit. It is amazing and it's free. And we even created a private podcast feed. If you don't want to sit there and look at videos, you can just listen to it, the episodes on your phone while you're driving or cleaning or, you know, walking your dog. So lots of things there for you. I hope you'll join us.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you again, Dr. Dunstan.